My brother, Adrian, looked at my sweet little daughter, Lily, with a very mean and tiny smile on his face. He looked me right in the eyes and said something that broke my heart into a million pieces. He told us that she did not belong at our family lake house. I felt Lily's tiny, soft fingers squeeze my hand as hard as she possibly could. It was as if she was trying to hold on to me so she would not blow away in a cold wind. For many weeks, she had been talking about nothing else but this special trip. She wanted to swim off the old wooden dock and jump into the cool, clear water that she loved so much. She wanted to roast gooey marshmallows over a warm fire until they were perfectly brown and sleep right under that big, slanted window in the attic where you can watch the silver moon and the bright stars. Her favorite purple backpack was already packed with her favorite books and her soft teddy bear, waiting right next to my mother's old, soft sofa in the hallway. Adrian looked around the room, and you could tell he was clearly liking how quiet and uncomfortable everyone had become. He said that this was a special family weekend meant for blood relatives only. Lily was only 7 years old, a small child with a big heart. She knew she was adopted, of course, but until that very second, she never once thought that being adopted meant she was any less my daughter or any less a part of this family. My mother just stared down at her phone, pretending she was reading something very important. My sister Vanessa acted like she was very busy looking at the ice cubes melting in her drink. Adrian's wife, Brooke, just gave a tiny shrug and said that, technically, Adrian had a good point that we should all listen to. I felt Lily start to shake next to me, her little shoulders moving up and down as she tried not to cry. Hashtag, 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 standing up for my daughter suddenly. Something inside my heart went very still and calm, like the water on a lake before a big storm. I looked at all of them and told them that there would not be a weekend trip at all for anyone this year. Adrian just laughed at me like I was a child making a silly joke. He asked what on earth I was talking about. I told him very clearly that I was canceling the whole vacation for everyone right now. His big, mean smile went away instantly. He told me I could not cancel their holiday because they had already planned everything and were ready to go. I picked Lily up in my strong arms, feeling her hide her face on my neck, and I took out my phone from my pocket. I told him he should just watch me. My mom stepped toward us with a worried look and told me not to be so dramatic or loud. She said Adrian was just teasing me like a big brother often does. I looked at her and said Lily was not laughing, so it was not a tease at all. Adrian rolled his eyes and told me I always made everything into a big, giant problem. He told me I should just leave Lily with a babysitter back home because the house has its own special traditions that she did not fit into. I told him he was actually right about those traditions. Hashtag, hashtag, hashtag the truth about the house. I called the management office for the Harbor Key property and put the call on speaker so everyone in the room could hear every single word. The whole room went totally silent when the manager finally picked up the phone. The man on the other end, a kind person named Daniel, said hello to me and told me he had just received my message. He asked if I really wanted every single guest code for the house turn-off starting tonight. I told him yes. That was exactly what I wanted him to do. I told him to cancel the booking and lock the property up tight right away so no one could get in. He said he would do it immediately and would send the new owner code to my personal email address so I could still get in whenever I wanted. Adrian's mouth fell open in total shock. Vanessa put her glass down on the table with a loud clatter. Mom whispered in a small voice, asking what he meant by an owner code. I ended the call and told him the truth I had been keeping for 12 long years. The lake house belongs to me. It is my house, and my name is the only one on the paper. Hashtag, hashtag, hashtag memories of Granddad. Nobody moved an inch in that room. Adrian laughed a bit, a nervous and shaky sound, and said Granddad left it to all of us together in his will. I told him no, that was not true at all. He left it to me 12 long years ago when he passed away. Adrian said that was impossible and that I was lying to them. I told him I remembered Granddad's last winters very well because I was the only one there. I remembered how his hands used to shake when he tried to hold a cup of tea. I remembered the long, quiet drives to the hospital in the middle of the night when he felt sick. I remembered sitting at his kitchen table every Sunday afternoon, sorting his many different pills, the little blue ones the round white ones, and the big yellow ones, into a plastic box so he would not forget them. I listened to the stories he told over and over again about when he was a young boy because everyone else was too busy or too tired to visit him. Adrian only showed up twice during that whole 3-year time. I told them Granddad gave the house to the granddaughter who actually showed up for him and held his hand when he was lonely. I reminded them that the will was read in front of everyone, but they were not listening then either. Vanessa started to frown, and then she finally remembered the day. She said I told them they could keep using the house for free. I told her I did say that back then. I thought that being together as a family was more important than reminding everyone whose name was on the legal papers. I wanted us to be happy together. Hashtag, hashtag, hashtag. Choosing my family. My phone made a little chiming noise. It was a message from Daniel telling me the old guest codes were now dead and would not work for anyone. Adrienne's face turned very red, like he was about to explode with anger. He told me I could not punish the whole family just because he said one little thing about Lily. I told him I was not punishing anyone. He was the one who decided Lily was not part of the family. So I was just following his new rule. If she was not family, then none of them were my family either. Mom reached for my arm and asked me to talk about this calmly, like adults. I told her that for 12 long years, I paid for everything. I paid the taxes to the city, the repairs to the roof when it leaked, the insurance, the lights, the water, and even the people who came to clean the floors. None of them ever offered a single penny or a single hour of their time to help me. I told them I never cared about the money because I loved seeing the family together under one roof. But when Adrian was mean to my child, every single adult in the room stayed quiet. They did not protect her. Vanessa looked down at the floor, feeling very ashamed. Lily whispered in my ear and asked if we could still go to the lake. I told her absolutely. We were leaving right now. Hashtag, 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 a new beginning. Adrian tried to block the front door with his body. He said their kids were already driving there and were almost at the gate. I told him he better call them right away to tell them to turn around. Right then, Vanessa's phone rang. Her husband was at the gate, but his code did not work. She stared at me with big eyes. I told her they were staying outside the gate. She asked if I was serious about this. I told her I had never been more serious in my life. Adrian asked how long this ban would last. I told him it would last forever. He said this was all over a joke. I told him it was about being cruel, and thinking my daughter had earned a spot in the family, I chose for her with my whole heart. He finally stepped away from the door. As I carried Lily to the car, my mom called my name, but I did not look back at her. By the time I hit the road, the messages started coming to my phone. Vanessa had excuses. Brooke said she was sorry. Adrian was angry and saying mean things that I did not want to hear, and my father told me to come back and fix it for sake of peace. I turned my phone off so we could have some quiet and peace. When we finally got to the lake house, the air smelled like pine trees and fresh water. Lily ran inside and stood under Granddad's old brass light in the hallway. She asked if it was really mine. I told her it was ours, hers and mine together. We spent the whole Saturday swimming in the lake and building a big, messy sand castle on the shore using a bright blue bucket and some white shells we found. We even had big pancakes with lots of maple syrup for dinner because we could do whatever we wanted. At sunset, we sat on the wooden dock wrapped in our favorite warm blankets while the water looked like shiny, glowing copper in the light. That night, as I was tucking her into bed, Lily asked me if we were a real family. That question hurt more than anything my brother had ever said to me. I told her we were the realest family there is. I told her she became my daughter because I chose her with my whole heart and all my love. I told her that love is what makes a family, not sharing the same blood or the same last name. She smiled, feeling very safe, and went to sleep. After she was out, I read my text. Adrian said I was destroying the family. I told him he tried to kick my daughter out of my home, so I was protecting my family, not hurting his. Then I blocked his number, so he could not reach me anymore. Months later, I opened the house again to guests. I did not invite Adrian or the others. Instead, I invited foster families to stay for free. so they could have a break and some fun. I wanted children who wonder where they belong to fill these rooms with happy noise and laughter and joy. Lily helps me make special gift baskets for them with snacks, fuzzy socks, and toys. Over the fireplace, I put up a sign with Granddad's handwriting on it. It says that family is whoever shows up with love in their hearts. Finally, the house is actually keeping its traditions the way it was always meant to be.